Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you guys who are new, welcome in. My name is Melissa and I am an intuitive tarot card reader. For those of you who are joining me back, welcome back. I'm so excited to have you here for today's video. So today we're going to be talking all about my weird relationship with the Ace of Cups. So if you've seen the other videos on my channel where we go into specific tarot cards, the reason I'm inspired to do these weird relationships with tarot videos is because, you know, as I was learning tarot and as I've been on my tarot journey, I've really come to the realization that certain tarot card meanings that I find in the book or online don't always necessarily align with like the actual experience that I'm going through. So today we're going to be talking all about my weird relationship with this lovely Ace of Cups, and I'm really excited to share this one with you guys because the Ace of Cups is definitely one of the most like warm and fuzzy, beautiful energies that you can ever really get in a tarot reading. But my relationship with it thus far, as it relates to me personally, has been really different from that. Almost the opposite of warm and fuzzy, if that makes sense. So if this sounds like something that you guys are interested in learning about, then please keep watching. All right, you guys, so let's get into this. So first, I want to start off by just reading the definition of the Ace of Cups out of a tarot book that I have here in my collection. And then we will get into a couple of examples that I have which do sort of align more with how this card is defined in the book. And then later on in the video, I'll tell you a little bit about my kind of weird relationship or my weird experiences that I've had with this card. So the book that I'm going to be reading the definition from for you guys today is called The Modern Witchcraft Book of Tarot. Okay. Now the definition of Ace of Cups in this book is like so similar to really any definition you might find just on any tarot website. So we're just going to kind of use this as a point of reference today. Okay. Okay. So the Ace of Cups, the upright ace denotes a burst of joy, the kind that comes with falling in love, which I've never gotten the Ace of Cups as it pertains to love, not yet anyway. Often its appearance heralds a new romance, but it can also represent the start of a creative project about which you feel happy. When this beautiful card shows up, it indicates you're on an emotional high and enjoying life. Sometimes it indicates the birth of a child or idea. So there's a lot of positivity in this definition. This card really speaks to romance. It speaks to beauty. It speaks to positive feelings and creativity, beautiful emotions, right? I just thought of the song Sweet Emotions by Aerosmith in my mind. I'm weird. But you guys, I have to say, like, my experience with this card has been a little bit different from that. So I wanted to begin by sharing two experiences with you that I've had actually recently with this card where I felt that my experience of that day was much more in alignment with this definition that I just read to you. So we'll start there and then I'll share with you kind of like the dark side that I know about this card, okay? So the first positive experience I wanted to share with you guys about the Ace of Cups, this had to do with the outcome to a really intense heart chakra manifestation / meditation work that I had been working on all like throughout the course of like, I want to say September I was doing this. Let me look in my book here. Yeah, this was like late August, beginning of September. So to keep a long story short, I had been really working hard on just releasing some things off of my heart chakra from the past, forgiveness, opening up my heart, just things of that nature. I won't bore you with the details on that, but I did some water manifestation technique during it was like a full moon in Pisces, I want to say. And so I was drinking this like manifestation water that was charged by the moon every single night. And one morning I pulled the Ace of Cups in my daily card pull, and I literally was just feeling like, you know, so filled with like love and happiness. I almost felt like I was invincible when I woke up that morning and as I like navigated through my day. And I could really, really tell that the effects of that water manifestation were for sure like paying off. So that was probably the most memorable time where I really felt this like overflow of just like beautiful, positive, like radiant emotion coming from within. Now, the second time that I had a really beautiful and positive experience with this card, this had to do with something work related. So for those of you that don't know, I'm not going to share a ton of details about my professional life on this channel, but I do work for a company that requires me to do a lot of traveling into different stores. So due to coronavirus and quarantine, there was a long period of time where I was not able to travel to a lot of my stores. I'm still very limited on where I can travel, right? But finally, a couple of weeks ago, or maybe this was the beginning of September, I was finally cleared to travel to this one particular store that I have a really nice relationship with. And I knew the manager was so excited that I was coming, the leadership team, they were really excited that I was coming. And the morning of their visit, I pulled the Ace of Cups, and it was kind of a very similar vibe as that day that I pulled this, and I was just feeling that love from within myself. It was almost like having a reunion with this team and with the store leadership team in general. Just a lot of really positive emotion, a lot of warm and fuzzy, just catching up with one another, exchanging how have you been? What have you been up to? What do you think about what's going on? So it was just a really, really beautiful, happy, positive energy that day. Okay, guys, now let's get into the dark side, the weirdness that I've experienced with the Ace of Cups. So what's always really caught my attention about the Ace of Cups card that I just wanted to point out before I get into my more kind of examples of my experience with this card. So the Ace of Cups, we know that this is about emotion, right? Usually it has to do the definition said earlier, an offer of love, a beginning stages of romance, or a beautiful gift being offered to you. It can be a lot of different things, right? But what has always struck me as interesting about this card is how the water is literally overflowing out of the cup down into this little pond. So for me, you guys, the best way that I can really explain my relationship with this Ace of Cups, just looking at it and reading it intuitively, it's like an overflow of emotion. And so the two examples that I just shared with you were very positive, overflows of emotion, where I was emotionally connecting with people, or just feeling really emotionally in tune with myself and just feeling really happy and positive, right? But this has also been an overflow of emotion for me on the negative side as well. In fact, that was kind of the relationship that I'd had with this card up until maybe the last couple of months with the two examples I just shared with you. So on the more dark side of emotion, I have had this card show up for me on days where I felt extremely frustrated, on days where I've even almost felt borderline angry or irritated. There's been days where this card has come up for me where I'm just emotional or upset about something. So it is still an overflow of emotion, but it's just a more negative emotion that we may not necessarily always associate with this card. Now, I will say, just as a disclaimer, I don't always read reversals on my daily card pulls. So maybe for some of you guys, if you have that more negative emotion relationship with the Ace of Cups reversed, comment down below and let me know. But whenever I have pulled this, in the upright, it still had kind of a negative connotation to it. And I think that's important to note, you guys, because this card, it's always described as so positive. I mean, you heard the definition in the book, right? It's always described as so positive, and it is, but not every tarot card is always going to be positive. There's kind of shadow and light to every single card, and it all depends on your experience that you have with it. So I want to just share a quick, let's see, I wrote down a couple of examples that I can share with you guys about this card on the days that I felt really frustrated. One that really stands out to me was sort of recently. This was back over the summer, and I, again, having to adjust to the pandemic and the different changes with work. I mentioned to you guys that typically with my job, my day job, I get to travel a lot. I get to go to conferences, I get to go on trips, I get to go out into the field and connect with my teams that I oversee and whatnot. And so to make adjustments for everybody's safety because of what's going on with the pandemic over the summer, a conference that we typically would have, in person, it was a conference that we then had to do virtually. So if you guys can imagine, sorry, I have to situate myself, I'm not comfortable. So if you guys can imagine going to this conference in person, getting to like connect with your peers and your colleagues and coworkers and have all of that stimuli, to now take that and put that in a virtual setting and be sitting literally in front of your computer screen every day for like 5 days straight for like 7 hours a day. It can feel really draining for sure. You know, for me, I'm definitely a type of person that I like to be out. I don't like to just be sitting in front of my computer every single day, 24/7. So on this day, I pulled the Ace of Cups as my daily card pull, and I was feeling just really drained, really frustrated, just really like sick and tired of like sitting in front of the computer screen. Okay, so another example of a more like weird or negative experience that I've had with this Ace of Cups also had to do with a work-related scenario. And in this particular scenario, I was going in for a store visit, and literally everything that could have gone wrong that day went wrong. Like, I remember I had a peer with me who was shadowing me that day. She was learning, she was new to the team. So she was there with me for like onboarding. And when I tell you guys, like, there was just so much that went wrong in that visit. I'm not even gonna get into the details because like I said, I don't wanna like talk too much about my day job, but like just suffice it to say, it was a really bad day. And it was another example of just feeling extremely frustrated, emotional. Just, I remember having to connect with a colleague about what had happened during the visit after, like a partner that I had that I needed to like share, hey, this is what happened in this store today. And I remember my approach with this colleague, I was so irritated and frustrated that it was like I was just pouring over in details to this person. Like, you know, my emotion was definitely coming through in my communication. So yeah, that's just another example of, you know, a weird kind of more negative relationship that I have with this card. All right, you guys, well, those are all the examples that I wanted to share with you today about the Ace of Cups. So I'm super curious what your relationship is with this card. Please drop me a comment below and let me know, especially if you guys read tarot. Do you like relate to any of my upright examples? Do you relate to any of the, you know, more negative examples that I shared with this Ace of Cups, or are your negative experiences with the Ace of Cups more when it comes up in the reverse? I'm super curious. Drop me a comment below and let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up for me. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well as the bell so that you know whenever I'm uploading new content, and I will see you guys in the next video.